Let us implement the exercise number 4 in the part B of our networking lab. In this exercise, we are supposed to write a Java program to implement ping command. So let us see how this can be done. So before we venture into this particular program, let's look at what is the meaning of saying this ping command. I'm going to go to the command prompt here, and there is a command called as ping. So I'm going to just type this ping, and I will write a slash question mark here to just get the details of the ping. Now this is the command for ping. Okay, so ping command is used to send an echo packet into the network. So this is the idea of ping, and there are a lot of options over here. One of the options that we are going to use is the n and count. That will specify the number of echo requests to be sent. So this is the command that we are going to here. Now, what does this particular command will do? Suppose if I say ping, and if I give an IP address, so any IP address I can give. So if I give the IP address like the local address 127.0.0.1, this is the loopback address of IP address. It will send an echo packet, and it will try to receive it back. So it's going to say that I have sent 32 bytes, and it took 1 millisecond for me, less than 1 millisecond for me to get it back. So send 4 packets and received 4 packets. This is what is the idea of, this is what is the use of the ping command. And we are going to implement this ping command. We will not get this output as such, but we will get an output which is fairly equal. So instead of sending 4 packets, I can always say that send only 1 packet. How do I say that? I can say that by saying minus n, and I can give the count. If I say if I give the count as 1, it's going to send only 1 packet, and it's going to receive 1 packet. Suppose if I say I want to send 2 packets, so it's going to send 2 packets, and it's going to receive the 2 packets. So it's you notice that send 2 packets and receive 2 packets, and you can see the 2 packets that are being sent over here. So suppose what if I say that you send 20 packets and receive 20 packets. So what will it do the same thing? So I'm going to do that thing. So you notice that it is trying to send the total number of packets. So it sends the packet, and it's going to say how much time it took for the packet to reply back. So you notice that it is going to send the 20 packets, and it's going to receive the 20 packets. And because it is a local machine that I'm sending it to my own machine and getting it back, naturally then no packets will be lost. Suppose if I give an address which is not there, this address is not there. So if I just send, I'm going to just send 2 packets, and if I press enter, you notice that it is said that it sent. What is it? Okay. I will try to send something which is not there, like say 54.1.2.3. Okay, which I don't think so I will be able to connect to that. Now, when I try to connect to that, it's going to say that destination is unreachable because it is not able to send anything, and it is not able to receive anything back. So here you notice that it was able to send. In the previous case, it was able to send something, but now it is saying that such a ping is not possible because I'm not able to send anything to that particular address. So this is what is the use of this ping command, and we're going to implement that ping. I will straight away go to the NetBeans here. And in the NetBeans, if at all you want to start a project, just go to the file and then say new project. And I'm going to select the Java project. See, in your machine, if you are using the older version of NetBeans, it will just show as a Java application. Okay, just forget about the Maven or Gradle or Ant or anything. Just select one Maven and just select one application. That's it. Okay. In your case, the older machine, this was a straight away Java application. Now they have changed it because I'm using slightly newer version, that is version number 22. You may be using version number 8 or something like that in the lab. So in that case, just use Java and then click next. And we are supposed to give a name to this particular application. Now the name is the class where you are going to implement the main logic, that is the static void main. Now the class name that they have given is main. So I'm going to use the same thing so that you don't get confused, because this particular program is already given. I don't want to make new things, new addition to that thing. So I'm going to just click on it and it will start. So this is your main. Ignore all these things. They are all remark statements. So you can simply ignore it. You start from the package. You know very well Java. You start from the package, and this also you can ignore it. They will not make any difference in your life. So they are all remark statements. So we are going to implement that particular thing. So we will ask, the first thing that I gave is I gave a IP address here. You notice that I gave an IP address here. So we are going to ask the same thing from the user. We will tell the user, give us a IP address. So how do I do that thing? I'm going to use the scanner here to get that. You know very well scanner. I can say scanner, control space it. So whenever you type, press control space and it will automatically add the import statement. So as you type a scanner or something, you press ctrl. So just type ctrl and plus space bar. So if you do that thing, most of the time it will help you out with the options. So I'm going to just press control space, and you notice that it is helping me with the option. Okay, and I'm going to call it as in, and you know very well scanner. You are already familiar. I'm going to say new scanner. Okay, just control space it, enter it, and again enter it. And S5 you just press control space it, press enter dot, and you will be given an option in as a first choice. Press enter, and it is all done. So you don't have to type, so that allow the NetBeans to complete the things, so that you don't make the typos or typing mistake in your program. So you have the scanner. Okay, let me just ask the user for entering the IP address. So I will use yes out. Just type yes out and just press the tab on your keyboard. So just type yes out and tab, and it will do the useful thing. That is, it will add the system.out.println, and I'm going to say enter the IP address. So I'm going to say enter the IP address. So give a space here, and we are going to read that. I will read it to a string variable. I will call it as IP address. Okay, I'm going to call it as IP address. You can say IP address R. Okay, IP address. And how do I read it? I'm going to say in the dot next line. Okay, so you know very well next or next line, one and the same. So I'm going to just use the, you can use the next or next line, one and the same. You're going to read one there. So you read one line, or if you don't like, you can just say, if you are so sensitive, you can just say next. Both will work. Okay, done. One and the same. You read it, and then we try to run this command. That is the IP command. So IP followed by this command. How do I run the DOS command? So this is actually a command in the system. How do I run that particular thing? For that, we have to take care of the runtime. So we will go to the runtime. We will ask the Java runtime. So you just press run and run E and just press control space, and you get the option runtime. And then I'm going to say runtime, get the runtime now, get the system runtime. That is, a runtime is a class, and I call the method. And within that method, I'm going to call this exec method. Remember, this method is deprecated. It is no longer used in the system, so you must be careful. But for this exercise, we will be using that, and we will type the same thing. What is the thing that we are going to type? We are going to type this ping IP, and we will only send one packet. So I'm going to type the same thing, ping and one. That is, I'm going to send only one packet here. So in other words, I will send, zoom in for you. I'm going to send only one packet here. Let me remove this mouse pointer. One packet here, followed by the IP address. This will be followed by the IP address. Okay. So ping minus n1 followed by the IP address. This is what I'm going to do it. So which is this IP address followed by IP address? So I'm very careful with what you are typing. There are a lot of spaces are there. Ping space minus n, in between minus and n there is no space, and then there is a space, and after that for IP address there is a space. You have to provide that much of space even in your prompt. So there is a space here, there is a space here after ping, and after ping also, after one also there is a space. Then I'm going to concatenate with the IP address. So I will concatenate with the IP address. So I'm going to get the output for this one. So I will execute this command, and I will wait for this command to get completed. You know very well, whenever I run this particular command, it will take some time for this command to get executed. So I have to wait until this is done with the work. So how do I do that thing? I'm going to say dot, then I'm going to say wait for that thing to complete. So I can say wait for, there are two options are there. Wait for will cause the thread to wait if necessary until the process represented by it is completed. And one very important thing about this wait for is that it will return 0, indicating it is normal termination. So if the process completes, what do I mean by saying that? Yes, if this IP, whatever I've sent here, if this thing is completed, then this wait for will return 0. Otherwise, it will return something else. I don't know what is it. So I'm going to wait only for that 0. So I will call that wait for. Okay, I'm going to call that wait for, and I will ask it whether the output of this wait for is it equal to 0. If it is 0, you know very well it is a normal termination. Otherwise, it is not a normal termination. I'm going to store that thing in a Boolean variable. So I will say this is a Boolean, and I can say whether it is reachable. So why did I use that word reachable? Because it is there in your program that is given over here. What is the meaning of saying reachable is, suppose if this is 0, what is the meaning of saying 0 is if this command is successful. In other words, if this ping, whatever ping you are doing, if it is successful, that means you are able to reach to the destination of the network. If it is not successful, you are not able to reach to the destination. So this is simple as that. So if it is 0, you are able to reach to the destination. I'm going to put everything inside the circular bracket so that I'm going to store that value inside the reachable. Remember, when I say reachable, you can use any variable name. If this value is true, that means if it is, remember, if the left hand side, if this is equal to 0, then it is true answer. So if it is true, that means it is reachable. If it is false, it is not reachable. Now there is one minor problem you will notice over here, and that is it is asking for an exception. If you notice over here, unreported input output exception, it must be handled. It just says that there will be an exception because when you try to run a program, that is external program or external command, there can be something or other thing can go wrong. Then you will have to take care. You have to take the responsibility. Which if you click on this one, it will just tell you that there can be an input output. If you just keep your mouse pointer and just click on it, it's going to say that do you want me to add a throws clause? That is, this particular NetBeans knows that this when you call this get runtime and wait, it will give you it may end up in an exception, and that exception is IO exception. Now there can be 101 exceptions. So how do I know that all the exceptions are there? I know that mother of all the exception is that exception class. So I'm going to handle that exception class, and rest it will take care of it. So what I'm going to do is, before I run this one, I'm going to just say try to run this command. So I'm going to say try to run this command. Okay. So I will just say try to run this command. Okay. If you are not able to run that command, I'm going to handle the exception. And remember, I'm going to handle the mother of all the exception. That is this exception. This is the mother of all the exception. If you handle this one, that is enough. Rest will take care of themselves. So if I get an error, I'm going to just show that error. How do I show that error? I'm going to go to this E and I'm going to say get the details. Okay, get you have this get message. I will call this get message, and you know very well. I will give you the detailed message of what went wrong. Okay, get message. And if at all, if you are really interested in, there is also one other method called as E dot get the trace this. Where is that? What you say that one as a stack trace. I need to handle all the stack trace if at all you want it. Otherwise, you can just print it. I don't need to trace the stack. But if at all you feel like you want to uh, handle that thing, you can do that thing. I will not try that thing. So you can just say that uh, the this e dot stack trace something should be there. So there is that stack trace. Okay, okay. You can get the uh, stack trace. So if you use this one, it's going to return. It will give you a stack by stack what it has done. Okay, you will get a very lengthy message. If at all you want, you just run that thing. So if it is not required, just show the message. That's enough. Okay. For a simplicity, that is enough. Okay, now these things I'm doing it only if I get an exception. So I don't expect an exception. Now, what if I don't get an exception? So that is the next one. So if I don't get the exception, that means it reachable is true. Then I'm going to give a. If it is not true, then you know very well I will end up in trouble. Or if it is not running only, that means if the command itself failed, I will end up in exception. But if the command executed, but it was not able to connect, so see there are many things can happen. When you run the command may execute successfully, and you get the reachable as a boolean true. Other thing is the command runs successfully, but it is not able to connect to the remote location, that is IP address. So it returns a false, saying that I'm not able to connect to it. Command executed, but the result of that command is false. Then reachable is false. The third one is command itself got stuck in between, so you get the exception. So command itself didn't run. Here the command runs and it may be true or it may be false. That means you may be able to reach it or you may not be able to reach it. So let's take care of the first case. What if you are able to reach? If reachable, so that is what I'm saying. If reachable, I'm going to say IP address is reachable. So I'm going to say IP is reachable. So that word itself is reachable. And I'm going to give the name of the IP address, which is the IP address. You remember, IP address is this IP address that we are talking about. So I'm going to say IP ADDR address. So IP address is reachable. What if, let's go to the else part. What if you are not able to reach that particular place? So if you're not able to reach to that particular point, you are going to say that IP address is not reachable. So simple as that. I will not waste my time in writing this one. So I'm going to say IP address is not reachable. Is not. I'm going to use the word not reachable. It is simple as that. Okay, so that is an obvious one. Now, if it is reachable, let us do some extra thing. So that is what they have done. If it is reachable, let's try to trace where it is going, how it is going, and reaching. So there is one remote machine is there, and we are trying to connect to that remote machine, and we want to know how it is getting connected. So if it is reachable, I'm going to put a flower bracket here because there will be more than one line. So if it is reachable, we are going to do something else. What we are going to do? We are going to start a new process and we will run a one more command over here. So get runnable, and we are going to uh, run a new process here. The reason why we are going to run a new process is that we are going to read something from there. So let us start a process. So I'm going to say PRO. Okay, and I will press control space, and the NetBeans knows that you want to create a process, and you notice that it's an abstract class, but still it knows that you are going to start a process. Let me call that variable as p, And how do I get the process? Remember, you have to get it from the runtime. So I'm going to say a runtime, and runtime, not runnable. Runnable is the thread, you know very well. Okay, and you're going to say get the runtime, and then execute this command. So which is this exit command? Remember, exit is now ruled out. So I want to now know how it is going to go and reach to the command. We are going to use one other command, and that command is trace rt, that is trace route. This is called as trace route. Okay, let me run that trace route. I'm going to connect to the internet. The reason why I am not connected to the internet is in one of the group somebody has died and they are sending RIP messages every now and then, but still if that message comes, please ignore it. Okay, so let me just connect to the internet, and I want to reach to the Google. So how do I reach to the Google? So I'm going to just say, I don't know the address of the Google. This command is trace rt, and I'm going to say www.google.com, and then press enter. Now it's going to see, it's going to show you how it is going to reach to the Google. So it is jumping from one machine to the other machine to the other machine. So it jumps across the network to reach to the Google. So you notice that it is trying to trace this one. It says request timed out, and then it just says that I reached here, I reached there in so many milliseconds to finally reach to the Google. So you notice that how it is working. Now, if you are wondering what it is that it is trying to do, okay, so if you are wondering about that, I will just show you. So let it complete its work. I'll tell you what it is. Finally, it's going to reach to the Google. Okay, so finally, there is two times request timed out. Hopefully, it will reach to the Google. It depends on my internet. I'm using BSNL, so naturally, it depends on whether that network is there or not. If the network is there, it is going to reach to the Google. Finally, somewhere it's going to reach to the Google. It won't tell you that I have reached the Google. At one particular point, it says that, okay, from here, I am able to reach to the Google. So you notice it's able to hop the messages from one place to the other, and finally, here it says that I'm at this point. Now, you didn't get the head and tail how it really went. So I have a trace route. This is the same command. This is the black and white command, and this is the utility called as a visual trace route, which is a colored utility, so that you'll be able to see it. I'm going to type the same thing, www.google.com. So I already have typed that .google.com, and I'm going to press enter. Now you see that same command it is trying to do, but this time it is going to tell you it first went to Thrissur, that is a BSNL router is there. From Thrissur, it is trying to send the packet to somewhere else. So you notice that as it sends, you notice that it went to the US, the packet went to the US. There were two redirections, and finally it reached the Google. And you notice that it actually first sent to the Thrissur. Now, if you go to this edge over here, why this it went to the Thrissur? If you click on this, uh, who is this address? Okay, it will take some time, but you will be able to see who is the IP address, and you notice that this is the BSNL South Zone. Actually, I've already told you, I'm connected to the BSNL. So from my place, from Mangalore, actually I'm redirected to one of the Southern Zone server, and which is there at Thrissur. So it went to the Thrissur first. From the Thrissur, if you just look at here, a lot of details are there which is not really required for us. So this is the from Thrissur, actually it went to the US. From this place, Thrissur, it is now going to the United States. So that's what it is happening. So from the Thrissur, it reached to the US. So this is the next place where it has reached. So from Thrissur, you notice there, so this is Thrissur, it went to the US server over here. Now, if you click here, you can even see what was that server name. It will take some time for you to get that who is a reply for this who is command, and you notice that that's actually a Google server itself. Okay, So this is the Google server that it went to directly to the Google server at Google LLC is their server at some place, Mountain View and California. It is this is in California. Then California they redirected me. It went to California. Then it went to somewhere else. You notice that it went to the other place. Within that, then it went to this place. So what is this place? If you click here, it will take some time, but you're going to get the details of what is this address. Again, this is their Google address. Somewhere they are redirecting here and there because of their reason. Okay, I don't know why they are doing it, but they are doing it for good. Okay, so this is how it goes. Now, what if I say I want to go to Bangalore University? So what if I say I want to go to Bangalore University? So I've already typed this www.bangaloreuniversityac.in. If I retrace this one, if I trace this in this location, if I press enter, you'll notice that first it will go to the Thrissur because I'm going to the Thrissur server. From the Thrissur server, it will redirect to different locations. So from the Thrissur, it may send it to some Maharashtra or some other location of BSNL, and then it may start redirecting. Okay, this server is, I think, their server is in Bangalore, as far as I know. Okay, that is Bangalore University server. So it may come back to the Bangalore again. Somewhere in the Bangalore it is. I will not show you that the thing over here. Now these are all in colors, but we are in the black and white world, and you are going to get this same thing. The story what you are seeing here is the story that is telling you how it is getting redirected in black and white world. It just to show you that this is what it is trying to do, and this command is the one that we are going to send. And what was our command? We are going to say trace route followed by not the google.com. What we are going to say is a trace route, that is trace rt. Okay, trace rt, and I'm going to say 127.0.0.1. This is a loopback address, and within no time it will trace it back, and it is going to say this is my machine, and it's going to say that you are there on the same machine, so there is nothing to jump, you are at the same location. So this is what it is going to say, and this is what I'm going to do it now. I'm going to write that command. So what is the command that I am writing? I'm going to say trace route. Okay, this is the command that I'm writing, trace rt. So that's the command. You can type it in capitals or small case, because you know very well DOS is case sensitive, case insensitive. So you can say trace route. I'm going to say trace rt, no space. This is the command, trace rt. There must be space after this. This is the command. Then there must be a space. You notice how I have written trace rt, then space followed by not the domain name. You are going to give the IP address. So there is a space after this. So just put the space after this. That is it one. Okay, so it is here. So put a space here, and then you write the IP address. So the IP address that I am reading, IPADDR. So IP address. I'm running that thing. Now, from this process, I'm going to read the stream. It's going to generate this story. It's going to generate this story. Okay, it's going to generate this story, and I'm going to read it, and I'm going to show it onto the screen. That is what I'm going to do. So how can I read it? You know very well, I already have the scanner, and the name of the scanner that I've used is IN. I'm going to use that IN itself to read the output. So I'm going to say IN is get the scanner. So I think will generate a new variable. So should I generate a new variable? I say scanner, because IN is already there. Should I use the IN itself? So yeah, it is of no use. After that, I'm not using it. So I will use the same variable. If you want, you generate a new variable, but I will use the same variable IN. Already it is there. IN is equal to new. Okay, scanner. I'm going to use this new scanner. Now this time we are not going to use a system. We are going to use this process P, and we will ask this P to give us the stream. So we will ask get the input stream from that process. Remember, this process, this process that I have created is the one that is going to run this command. That's the one that's going to run this trace rt command. So we will ask that process give us this detail to us. This is what it's going to do. Okay, so I will get the stream, and you know very well from this stream. Remember, we will read one line at a time. This is the stream. We will read one line at a time, and we will print. Read one line, print. Read the one line, print. Read one line, print. And finally, when there is no more lines, we will just stop it. So this is what we are going to do. It. So I'm going to use a while loop here. So I'm going to say while. Okay, I will use this one. See, I if you have see, I'm used to it. So whenever I press this while, I press Control Space so that I get. So I'm going to say while it has next. What in has the next. Okay. Now next means it is I next means one word, but I want one line. We are reading one line at a time. So I'm going to just make small changes over here. I will say that next I want next line. If you press Control Space, it will do the needful thing. So I will read the next line. So what is the meaning? As long as there is one line, as long as there is one line left to read, you read it. If there is no more line to read, you just stop it. So simple as that. So as long as there is a line, read the line, and you do what? You just output to the system. So yes out, and can just press tab and you output it. How do I output it? Whatever you have read, you just give it to the screen. How do I do that thing? So you just say in dot next line. You know very well to read. You have this next line. So you just read it and just give it. Read it and just give it. So this is what you are going to do it, and just read and give it to the system. So this is the entire program. Let me save it and let me run it. See, there are two ways of running it. You directly run it from here. So this will run it, or right click and you have an option to run this file, or control F6 to run this one. So if both of them are same, you just run it. Somehow you have to run this one. And if everything is proper, you will be asked an IP address. Just type the IP address 127.0.0.1. So you press enter, and you notice the IP address is reachable. So this is why IP address is reachable, because the Boolean value, where is this Boolean value? This is reachable. This part is reachable. So you got it. Let me click on the output again. And the next thing that it is trying to show you, tracing the Novo and 127, that this and that. So it's going to show you that thing. Okay, so this is the number that it is going to show, and if you notice that this is the one that I am also getting here. So you notice that this is the one that I am going to get. Now I try to reach to the what is my Thrissur location. So I'm going to run it one more time, and I'm going to give you the Thrissur location. That is the what is the Thrissur location? You notice over here, if I don't make a mistake, 117, 230, 87, 28. Let me, you'll have to remember that word. 117, 230. Let me type that one. 117 dot 230. I'm typing those numbers there. And what else was there? And this 8728. So that is the next one. Where is it? Sorry. Where is my program? 8728. Now I don't want to make a mistake here, so that I 828 8728. This is the IP address that I'm trying to think. So I'm going to just type that thing, see whether it is reachable or not. So you notice that it is not it is not reachable. Where is this hello world? Sorry, I think that I have not deleted this hello world. Sorry, here that somewhere it is there. Hello world. Sorry, this is to be deleted. Okay, that was the default it is giving me. So it didn't reach there. Let me try it one more time. See, the problem is there are two things that can happen over here, and one is the one thing that can happen is you have antivirus that is running. In most of the system, either this is there or Windows Defender is there. Both of them won't allow any process to simply go and get the information. They will secure your system, and they won't allow somebody to simply send the packet and receive the packet. So sometimes if you don't get it, okay, you will end up in trouble. Now suppose what if I write the Google address I think 8.8.8.8. Well, it reached that 8.8.8. Okay. Okay. You see, 8.8.8.8 is reachable. Okay. And it is now saying, I will just zoom in for you. Okay. This is an interesting one. I will leave it to you. What is that 8.8.8.8? There is a lot of story behind this Google and why they gave the name Google and so on. Okay, it is not simply because something strike their mind. There is a lot of technicality involved in that name itself, Google name itself. You find out why that they chose the name of Google. A really interesting story. That is the historical thing. You notice that how it is trying to trace the one different location. You notice it is trying to trace over and again, and then it will try to reach to the location. Now it said that I will go only for 30 jumps. That means from one server to this server to this server, only 30 jumps. If I'm not able to reach to the server within that 30 jump, I will say that it is not reachable. And but in between, you notice that it is jumping like anything from one server to the other server to the other server. It simply jumps, and you notice that it's able to hop between the different location. Okay, as it is doing, and I'm going to search visually. I'm going to show you what is this 8.8. I'm not going to tell you what is that 8.8.8. Yeah, very interesting one. You find out on your own. Okay, I'm going to trace that 8.8.8 also here only. Now you start from Thrissur every time, okay, and then you start jumping. Okay, you notice two places from Thrissur it went there and it went there, it went there, and you notice how it is doing. The same story my program is also doing, but it is doing in black and white. So it has completed, but you notice that DNS Google. Okay, at least we got the hint. What was that I was trying to search? Okay, I will leave it to you. The interesting one. Finally, it went to that location, and let's see my what the tracer is doing. Whether it reached, yes, DNS Google. You notice the last one to reach is DNS Google, and that 8.8.8 I will leave it to you. Okay, so this is how you implement the one of the program. Thank you for your interest. We will meet again in the other exercise. Thank you.